Hi guys, it's Belle here and I'm back with episode 4 in this altered book series. Today we are going to try and get all the pages finished, so it could be quite a long video. And to make sure that we try and do that, I've gone ahead, pre-cut all my papers as well as done the single pages, because we're just repeating the pattern of pocket or writing space. So I'll obviously briefly show you those when we get to them, but I wanted to just try and get all this finished because we've still got a few more episodes. I really don't know how anyone can make a journal in just like half a day or a few episodes. Anyway, I will leave the links to the kits I'm using down below. The plain autumn leaves papers, I say plain, I mean like simple with no other imagery on it, is the autumn leaves paper pack by RomanticaArts off Etsy, and this gorgeous kit here is the Fall Mood Junk Journal kit by Gypsycraftery on Etsy. I will leave the links down below if you don't already know. So let's get started. This was the last page. If you remember from episode 3, I was having problems with this page. It wasn't quite flat and going flat. What I ended up doing was pulling this top pocket up again and re-sticking it down, and now it works a lot better. I mean, nothing goes completely flat because it's in an autumn book, but works a lot better. And we finished this double spread last time, so I went ahead and just did, as we had a pocket here, then we had paper to write on here, and then I did another one here with the leaves just behind and a sheet of paper. And then this pocket, I went ahead and worked out what all the pockets were going to be. This is going to be a side opening pocket. So I've already cut my piece of paper, and we're just going to get that inked up and then stuck down. I know there's several of you who are following along, so I hope you don't mind that I've already pre-cut everything and that I'd already done the single pages. I just really want to get all the pages finished in this particular video, because I really want to get on to making ephemera and doing the cover and decorating, so that'll probably be 3 videos in itself, so you know. But there's no rush for journaling, and just kind of take it in your own time. Now, again, I'm going to turn mine sideways so I can see it better. And I'm leaving a border around my pages. I'm going to move that over a bit because it's quite a border there, because I like that. You, again, do not have to. I just like doing it because I'm using a book, so I might as well leave that page. And then I'm just going to use my punch. I'm not sure what this is. It might be a 2-inch punch, or I'm just going to cut a little divot out of the side so that I know this is a pocket. And it's not cut properly quite because it's still a little bit wet from the glue. So usually let it dry just a few seconds, but that's all right because I can just snip that bit. And then I am going to ink that up. So yeah, like I said, I've done all these single pages. I'm just going to ink a little bit because we know, you know, you've seen me do those before. You don't need to see me completely doing them again. I'm going to put glue on the page that I'm gluing down rather than on this page as I have been doing, you know, because this page might be slightly bigger once they've actually gone down. And again, just close the journal and press the page down so that the page kind of falls where it would naturally, and it makes gluing easier. See, that's gone so nicely. And I'm also going to ink inside there just a little bit. I'm not going to keep that up there, but we'll change that when we come to it. Next page, again, is a blank page. It's the other side of that fox. We've just got the ear poking out here. So I used the face here. It's the other side. And a little bit of writing space. Again, change the sizes of your writing space so that even though you're using a plain page with the writing space, it still changes it up a bit. And here we've got a triple pocket going to happen. So the page, you will have your 3 pages if you're following along. And the first page, I'm just going to fold down the top slightly. It's only about, I'd say, 1 inch and a bit away from the top. Just do it however, oh, it's 1 inch. Just do it however you want it to look. If you want it slightly bigger, slightly smaller. And again, I'm just going to glue this down to this page so that it strengthens that. Now, I've got this little bit that says August because I've used 2 autumn, and then on some of the other pages I use September and October, so I've got the autumn months. So I wanted to use August on here because I haven't used that yet. This is Edith Holden. It's got a beautiful patina anyway, but I'm still going to use some walnut stain Distress Oxide on there. It just always makes me chuckle when we do that as crafters, that it's got a patina, but I don't know, if you're like me, you just still maybe add ink. I know not everyone does. I think it just adds to the border. And I'm going to stick that down on this page. Again, leaving a bit of a border. And you will notice there's a gap up there. I'm not going to leave that. I had this little scrap from one of the other pieces that we were using. I'm just going to tear the leaf a little bit because I like torn edges. And I'm going to just stick that up there. So we're using a scrap up. I'm not going to ink this bit, I don't think. And then it kind of just fits and works perfectly. Using a scrap, filling the gap. Oh, there you go. Use your scraps to fill the gaps. Sorry, I'm making myself chuckle today. So yeah, I really want to get these finished, and we've got quite a few pages, and I was working out we normally do about 6 pages in total in about an hour video, and we have more than that. We would have double or over double that amount if we were also doing the single pages. And so I just didn't want to do that. So here I want to do, on this one, I want to do, as you can see, a turn down. So the first thing I've done is I've folded the page over. Let's try and straighten that a little bit. So I'm going to fold it like so. But then I only want it to come to this. I don't want it going all the way across. So obviously you have to measure that. You have to see where this is going to fall. And then what I like to do is kind of take my ruler and just kind of bend that up. I hope you can see that, so that I'm actually bending from the edge of the page underneath with the ruler straight. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know. And then that will give me a pocket that goes to there, like that. And we don't need all this extra, so I'm going to cut the little triangle here, because that would just be too bulky, especially if we're putting something in the pockets. And again, I don't need all of this, so I'm just going to trim that. And then, you guessed it, we're going to glue it. So I hope you're still enjoying this, guys. I know we're moving from autumn into winter, but you may not be doing an autumn one. You may be doing a completely different themed one. And I'm doing lots and lots of Halloween stuff at the moment. So it's nice to just take a bit of a different theme for the season and do some autumn. Now you can use your bone folders to burnish those edges. So you can see here I've got a little triangle. So again, I had this scrap left over, and I just want to use the scrap to fill that in. Again, I'm leaving a border, but what I am going to do is I'm going to ink this edge just to give it a bit more definition against the papers underneath and whatever ephemera that I put into there. So again, let's just ink this. So obviously if you are following along, and I'm going a bit quickly in this video because I've pre-prepped everything, just pause it, and you know, just pause it on the page that you're working on, and then move on to the next one and press play when you're ready. So I just really don't want to be doing like 5 episodes of pages if I can avoid it, because it would get boring for you and it would get boring for me. So I just want to do that. So again, I have this piece that I pre-trimmed, and it's going to go over. So I line it up with my page. I've cut it to size and I've lined it up, so I know it's going to go there, making sure I'm in camera. And then obviously we've got this edge, and I'm just pressing it against that edge to get a good measurement. It's probably even further on there actually. So if that goes there, I'm going to turn it over and there. Right, so it should be around there. I'm just going to snip the edge just in case I still need a bit of this bit. And again, I'm going to ink the edges of all this. Probably should have pre-inked everything to save time as well. But me inking also gives you time if you need to cut your papers. So if you are following along, let me know down below what theme are you doing for your altered book. Are you doing an autumnal one like me? Are you getting ready for Christmas and doing a Christmas one? Is it just a general theme that you enjoy? Are you making it for yourself or as a gift? Let me know down below. I've made a grungy nature one, and now I'm making an autumnal nature one. So my next one will definitely be a slightly different theme. So I've glued that, and I'm just sticking it down, but only this bit, because obviously I know it's going to bend. And then again, I'm just pressing the paper to the edge, and then glue. So it's covered, and you can see it fits. It's all cut out, it all fits. And again, this is a great time to get, I can't find my large one, so you have to excuse how dirty. This is my small one that I normally use for like mixed media projects. So it's got paint and stuff and that on it. It's a great time to get your bone folder out if you've got one, or like anything that you can press down with, just to really press those edges down. As you can see, I'm having to glue them, re-glue, press those edges down into the corner of the book page and here, because obviously you're going to be gluing. And this time I'm actually going to glue. So I'm not going to glue on this page. I'm actually going to glue here. So I'm just going to measure where the page comes to on the other page underneath. And I'm doing that again so that if this one's a bit bigger when it falls flat, we shouldn't have the problems we had with the other page where it was bunching up. That is what I am. Hold on, I need to ink that. That is what I am hoping. Anyway, so let's put the book flat, press down, open it up. Yeah, no bunching. Brilliant. You can see it hangs over just a smidge here. So if I'd put glue there and then tried to stick it onto the bottom page, they wouldn't have matched up exactly. So it depends what way you are doing your pockets. Like on this pocket, I'll actually be putting it on the bit that we are gluing to the other page. because this page is larger, so it doesn't matter. You basically want to put the glue on the page that's slightly smaller than the page you're gluing to. Does that make sense? I hope it does. You'll see as we do it throughout the book anyway. And there we go. We have a double pocket because we have a pocket here and we have a pocket here. And I really like that pocket. It's fun. And we have the word August. So on this page, again, I had some scraps, got some writing. But instead of a rectangular pocket, as we have been doing, I just cut out a triangle that I am going to fit there. I'm going to turn it that way because you can see my pencil marks and why rub them off when we can just turn it round. I'm going to do a triangular pocket. All the others have been rectangular, but I have done a triangular pocket a bit later on. So what I want to use is some of the Edith Holden book page. And we will need the guillotine for this because obviously I am going to be cutting a triangle. So I kind of want to match it up where there's writing. So I'm putting my triangle on the page where there's the writing. Just drawing a rough triangular shape so I know where to do my cuts. Because, you know, it's nice, then I get a lot of that writing. And then I'm going to use my paper cutter to cut it out, but I want to go slightly smaller. So the line is here. I want to cut just above that line because obviously I want it to be slightly smaller and still see some of the brown card. So again, if I was going to cut on the line, I'd cut it there and that would cover the whole pocket. But I'm just going to cut above that line so that, this is a bit tricky because I need to get it just right and hold it in place so that I get some of the brown craft card showing, because that is also what I have done on the other pockets. Oh, finger got in the way then. So now if we look at this, we should still have, right, so there's not enough brown showing. So again, I'm just going to trim ever so slightly. You can measure, but why measure when you don't have to? Going by eye, measuring by eye works just as well for me in this kind of situation. Again, put it on, perfect. I've got just enough of a border around that pocket. Let's get the ink out. I just fancied a bit of a different pocket and I wanted to show you a bit of a different pocket that you could do. This is a very simple altered book. I'm hoping to do another one that's a bit more complex, you know, got more complex pockets. So we, at some point next year, not this year, at some point next year, I will do another altered book series so that we could do something more complicated. But I just thought, this is only my second altered book, and the first one I started ages ago and only just finished this year, the last few pages. And I know many of you have told me that you've wanted to make an altered book but haven't really known where to start. So I thought we'll make one that is simpler with a few techniques repeated throughout, so that, just making sure the writing's the right way, so that, you know, you can make one and gain confidence. And I always feel like the first part, so I'm just sticking it in the corner for that pocket, the first item of something that you create, like a first journal or a first crafty piece, you should always try and go for the sort of more simpler, basic way, and then start playing around. That's what I think. Gain your confidence in it first and then get more creative. So I've put it in that corner. So now we've got a pocket down here that a large journaling card could go in. And I like it. It's a bit different, and we can still write here if I want to, but you know, it's just nice. And I like the Normally for the pockets, I've put the Edith Holden behind and then done the pocket with a patterns paper. This time I did it the other way round because I thought that worked well. On to the next page. So this was 2 pages that I put aside for the pocket. And I decided to do another one where it's bent down like that, but instead of, again, you can put it anywhere. You could bend it to here, you could bend it to here. I decided to sort of have a bigger gap than here for my pockets. Just bending it all nice and flat. As I said to you before, sometimes with books you kind of have to bend it a little bit and just get it so it's used to moving, because the pages aren't supposed to be stuck together. So sometimes it can take a little bit. So I've bent it down. So again, we've gone from a full page, bent it over, pressed. So the first thing I'm going to do again is glue on here to give a bit of security, a bit of thickness, so that when you're pulling things in and out of this pocket, it doesn't tear. And then I've chosen 2 papers. So I've got this one, and I think I want this one to go this way because I like the acorns there. They kind of complement and pick up the acorns over there. So let's ink that and get that glued down. So yeah, tell me what theme you're doing, or if you're following along and doing an autumnal one like I am. Maybe you're even using the same kits as I am. Just let me know down below. I'd love to hear what you are doing for your altered book. I do think at some point I would like to make a Christmas themed one. That would be nice. So again, I'm turning my book because it's easier for me. You don't have to, but it does mean that you can see the longest part of the page better, which means that when you're trying to line it up and leave a gap, you can see the longer part and you'll be able to line up the sides better, especially if it's a small piece like this. So that just fits. I'm really lucky that just fits to there. And then I've got this gorgeous page from the Full Mood journal from oh, what's her name? Gypsycraftery on Etsy. I wanted the pumpkins on this page. And again, I'm going to ink this just to give definition between the top pocket and the paper below. Just gives a little bit of definition. And then this is going to get glued down there. You can see, if this is the first time you have joined me for this book series, there is a playlist on my channel where you can watch all the previous videos, and I will link them in the description box below, so you can head over and check those out. But if you don't know, I'm just doing the plain pages first because we are going to decorate them afterwards, because I find that easier. It flows quicker if you're doing all the same process. I'm not going to say I do that for every journal. A lot of journals I don't do that, but with a lot of my journals I will do the pockets and the pages first. That's not getting under there. Before I do all the ephemera. I feel like that needs trimming, but I can't trim it now that it's glued down. So I'm just going to glue that edge. And then I'm going to really push it in to the spine with my Bolton folder. And that is now folding a lot easier and not coming up. So, shorter page, glue on the shorter page, because it won't matter, because there'll be no paper hanging over because it's getting glued onto a longer page. Again, close the book, press down firmly. And then, like I said, just going to move that. Just going to move both of them. Yeah. And there's our next pocket done. Doesn't that look pretty, guys? It looks so nice. And just the little corner with that bit of writing, I think, really just lifts that whole page. So as we have a pocket here, I've now done a page with some writing space, as you can see. So I tend to like pocket, writing space, pocket, or pocket, writing space, pocket. But I tend to like 2 writing spaces in between if possible. Not always, but if possible. So we've got the other beautiful fox page. So this is a different fox face to the other one we used that I now have to find. They're gorgeous. And this I want as a top loading pocket. So again, it's 2 pieces of paper. This should fit. I'm thinking I may just trim it a little bit more. I'm going to trim this side because it doesn't matter if we lose a tiny bit of its ear. Just a little smidge off. And I wanted this as a top pocket because we've got all this space up here on this page. So taking a divot out of that, it means we don't take too much away. I mean, there is lots of space there as well, but I just thought it worked better, this face with a top loading pocket. At the end of this video, I will be telling you what you will need to gather, or the kind of things you will need to gather for the next video, which will be kind of snippet making. That's what, yeah, I'm going to call it snippets and tiny decorations. That's what we're going to be making, and they're the things we're going to be putting on some of the pages and keeping some to put on the ephemera we are going to be making. If you need to make any ephemera, you may not need to make any ephemera. I am making the ephemera for this. So again, I'm looking at the longest side because that will give me the better idea of placement. Really sticking that down. Again, I'm going to get my bone folder, really get in there and burnish it down to the paper, because it's a bit tricky because I've also got paper clips on other pages, so sometimes it's a bit bobbly. Use whatever glue's easiest for you that's going to stick. I'm using a glue stick for the larger pieces of paper. And there we have that gorgeous fox. Love it, love it, love it. So again, I'm going to take my punch. Like I said, I think it's about a 2-inch punch. I am going to turn it over so that I can roughly guesstimate where the middle is. I only want about 1/3 of the shape. That's what I like to go for. You may not want to cut a divot out, again, because it was a little bit down, but it hasn't cut perfectly. But again, I don't mind that because ink hides all those kind of things. And if you do get any like bubbling like that with a page, as I had, just use a bone folder or something and press it. Blah, blah, blah. What was I saying? Yeah, about 1/3 of the size of that punch. You may not want to punch it out. You may not want to use a circular punch. You may have a different punch that you like to use and a different size. All of that is great. Use what you have, guys. Use your tools. So, because I'm not sure where this will fall, I'm gluing onto the bottom page. And I'm just going along the bottom and then along the side. Just thin layer of glue. Because as I said, I don't know. These pages are roughly the same size, but the top one might be slightly shorter or hang over. So I'm just going to, again, close the book. Again, a tip, not one that I've created, one that I've seen on Gail Gustinelli's channel. And there we go. That page is glued down, guys. There is, I'm not sure if you can see that. There literally is the smallest hangover of paper, which is why it's good, don't crush, to put it on the bottom page in that area. If the pages are similar sizes, always put it on the lower paper just in case. So once again, Edith Holden with a pocket. We have made one of these here in the previous video, so you'll know how to make those. And there's our September. And now this page was again 2 pages. So some of them are 3, some of them are 2. And I just wanted a corner pocket, so I've just folded the paper down. Again, leave a little bit at the top here. Can you see that? Am I pointing to it? Just so it's not right next to the spine, because if it is, it just makes it a bit harder and it can rip easier. So I'm just going to trim this off and, you ever guessed it, glue it down to give a bit of extra thickness and security to this pocket. Because, you know, not all journals are meant to be used. Some are art pieces. But I like to use my journals. So I will be pulling things in and out. So it's easier to just make sure that pocket's secure. I had this scrap left over. So I thought that is perfect. It fits there perfectly with a bit of gap around the page, as you can see, and the brown leaves here pick up the browns over here, so I think it works well. So let's ink that one before moving on to the top and get, or do I want it that way? Now I'm thinking, oh, do you know what, I think I might want it that way. I thought I wanted it the other way, but now I'm thinking that gives me more space, and there's going to be something probably in this pocket anyway. And we've still got the black and brown of the leaves, but we've also got some of the orange that picks up the pumpkins over there. Sometimes you think it's going to work one way and then you change your mind, and that's all right. We're crafters, we can do that. So let's get this glued down and into place, and then we can do the top pocket. Again, I'm going to turn it, giving me the biggest space to look at. I can see clearly the gap along here, and I can see clearly the gap along there. Make sure any paper you're putting into what's going to be a pocket, like here, you glue it down really well. Because if it's not and it's curling up, then as you're putting things in and out, it's going to pull on the paper, and it's not only going to be tricky, but it may actually then rip your pocket. So I've got this gorgeous one because, again, you can see the browns picks up here, but then we've got a bit of orange and yellow that just lightens the whole page. I've trimmed it to size, and we're going to do exactly what we've done on the other pages like this. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to get to the edge here, not force it, just firmly but gently press it against that edge. And then I'm going to ink around this, and we're going to get it glued. Oh, I've been out collecting leaves, guys. I am thinking I may put a few dried leaves into this journal as tags and pieces of ephemera. So I love to collect leaves anyway in the autumn for any up-and-coming journals through the year, because I do make a lot of nature journals. Sorry if you can hear that. There seems to be like someone playing music really loudly outside. So I like to go out in the autumn anyway and pick them up, and obviously decoration in the house. See, that's perfect. I'm going to press that down just so I can press all this down first. I'm going to get the top bit glued first. Really, again, make sure those edges are pressed well. Okay, I'll try and turn it. As I said, this is my mixed media one. I can't find my normal big one that I use for my day-to-day paper crafts. I was probably using it in another journal. It's probably on my table and I'm just not seeing it because that happens a lot. Really press that down. Really press that edge down. Oh, it just looks so pretty against each other. But again, just to give some definition between one pocket and the paper underneath, I am going to then ink it. You don't have to. I like the definition it gives. Because to me that just looks, just adds. But not everyone likes inking. So once again, because they're two pieces of paper that are basically the same size, I am going to glue here first. So I'm going to look to where this paper measures up on this page and then glue from there downwards, because it gives me a rough guide. And then just push the pocket closed. It's quite therapeutic, really, this. I do find altered books really therapeutic when it comes to journal making, because I have to be much simpler, or that's what I found with the last one. Let's press that over, make sure it's pressed on the other side, that it opens and closes okay. Perfect. So this is now this side. So we've done this page, this page, and this page. We've done quite a few pages so far today. And now this page. I love this page. I just think it's so good and all the colours pick up. And we've got September. So on this page, let me just stick this down. Again, a plain paper that we can write on, because we've got a pocket here. Plain paper, pocket. So plain paper on this page. Gone for a darker look on this page. And I decided I really wanted to use this somewhere. I'm going to get rid of this bit, I think. And I'm going to make it a side tuck similar to this one that we made when we started. So again, it's 2 pages. Ink this up. Let me just double check that it does fit without me having to trim anymore. Yep, perfect. So what was I saying? Yeah, I find the last altered book I made was really therapeutic because I was limited in what I could put on the pages and in the pages. With a normal journal that I would make, sometimes obviously I'm making it from scratch, so I'm stitching on the edges, I'm stitching pockets into it, I may be doing stitch detail on the pages. I can overfill the pages. I can use a lot more dimension in snippets and decorative elements, because it doesn't matter, because I can make the cover to whatever size I want it to be. As I am working in an actual book that I've kept the spine of and it's got limited space, I find altered books not only challenge me to decorate and work in a different way, which is really good, but are just therapeutic to sit down. You could literally use an altered book like that, this, and collage every page. You could sit down in the evening with all your paper scraps and just collage every single page. I'm going to come back to this one because I want it to dry a little bit before I snip it out. But yeah, you could collage every page. It would be so therapeutic. So again, I've used a plainer background paper here. It's got writing lines on it. And then I've actually done a top triangular tuck with the Edith Holden on top. I just really like to try and find the words. It says heather and pollen, reeds, lake. You know, I like being able to see the words in the book pages. So next page, guys. So this time I had 3 pages spare, and I decided to do a double side tuck. So the first page I left about 1 inch from the front, and I've just bent it over like that. And then the second one I've left just under 1 inch because we want some space here to be able to put the paper and decorate. So we'll end up with 3 pockets. So let's get gluing. So I'll glue this down first. This little flat bit there. Oh gosh, losing lids, quick. And there. So for this one, I think I wanted the leaf underneath because I think I wanted Edith Holden here. We've got this beautiful leaf design, but we've only got 1 inch. So do I want the berries or do I want the actual leaves? I think I like the leaves because they're up against the edge. So they look like they're going inwards and you get more leaf decoration. So let's ink this one and get this stuck down. Must remember to go back and put a divot in that one. But yeah, really therapeutic, challenges you in a different way, uses up some really old books that you may not use in any other way. Just something different. I know that when I did my first altered book, when I first started it, I used to just sit in the evenings and glue the papers down and a few like bits and pieces and scraps, and yeah, I just enjoyed it so much. So, and as you can see, this is like the 4th episode, they come together really quite quickly. It works really well. Let's ink this edge. If you've got all your papers and your bits and pieces and you just use those, you have them to the side and think, right, that's all I'm going to use. Right, so this is some Edith Holden. I definitely want this side because it says golden here, lots of golden, and wind and fruit. So obviously I'm going to ink around it again just to give it some definition, a bit different from the page underneath. And I've inked along that edge of that pocket again to define between this pocket. It doesn't even matter that this got a little rip out of it because it's going to be inside the pocket. So yeah, let me know down below if you're finding creating an altered book very therapeutic and calming. This video seems a bit rushed, but that's just because I really want all these pages finished. So we can move on to the ephemera. Okay. I don't mind that there's a bigger gap here and here. That doesn't bother me. I like the fact that it's a bit staggered. And that will go there. And so now I just need to glue this down. I'm going to trim it. We don't need all that length. So I hope you're all okay where you are. We have been having storm weather this way, stormy weather. That's quite nice because so far it's been quite a mild autumn. Really like that, but which way round do I want it? I think I want it this way round because this is quite a big flower and leaf down here and we have this larger leaf here. So if I put it here, it would be a lot of the same along the bottom and I don't want that. I want it to have a bit of difference. It won't matter because we might add an embellishment to it or yeah, a snippet of some sort, but it just looks better aesthetically to me. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll do this. But yeah, we've been having some storm weather. It's been really weird because it'll be grey skies, almost black, like it is this afternoon. It's normally not this dark until much later in the evening. And then like gusty wind and frighteningly gusty wind and rain and thunder and lightning. And then the next thing you know, it's cleared up. But you can feel the damp, chill, autumnal air. It's definitely getting in November. I always find November one of the wettest months of the year. Over here anyway, where I am. So, yeah, I can really feel that in the air. Let's ink that up. Just got ink all over the side of my finger because I put my finger in the ink pad. So, as it's a shorter page going to a larger page, I'm going to put the glue on the shorter page. Put it down. Press down. And that's our first pocket done. Make sure, turn this over, press from the other side. I like to do both. And then again, another shorter page to a larger page. Glue. Close the book, let the page fall where it wants to fall, where it feels natural for the page to fall. And there we have a double pocket and a pocket up here. And again, I'm going to turn it over just so I can press from that side and press the edges. I just like to manipulate the page a little bit while it's still gluing, just so that I know it's going to be, I really like that. That's a really pretty page as well. Yeah. Okay. Again, we've just had a pocket, so blank page to write on, pocket page, blank page. So the back page to every kind of like pockets that I've made out of the book pages, I'm saying page a lot, I tend to do flats, either with a piece of writing or with book page, with a plain pocket. So this one, oh, this is our final pocket, guys. The final book page is 3 pages. And I wanted to try something a bit different. I really like this pocket, which we've done earlier in the book. Where is it? Here. I really like this page. I've left a much bigger gap. So I've basically taken the 2 corners of the page, just small, and folded them over. And folded the other one, and I've left probably about 3 1/4 inches here. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to put another pocket on top. So I decided again to do one of these folded side pockets, just like we did the 3 here. And it's kind of, I've done it so it folds in the center of the page. So the first one we're going to do, I'm going to make sure it is the first one. Does that one go there? Yes, because this one's the bigger one, so it must go underneath. First thing we're going to do is this page. Nice and easy, and then we'll get onto the folded pages. So that is there, and then I'll show you what I've done on the back, and we might have time to do the last few pages in the front. Or at least for me to show you what I'm going to do with those. So that you can do that and be ready for our next bit if you're following along. I'm going to do this underneath. Again, I kind of liked the edge where there's part of the leaves meeting the edge. I don't know why, I just do. I like it. Again, it's what is aesthetically pleasing to you, so that when that folds, you'll just see these leaves poking out. There is a gap. Can you see? This paper underneath doesn't go all the way to the end of this pocket, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered up by the top one. So I was fine with that. I mean, it's probably because I mismeasured and cut. Doesn't matter, it's going to be covered up. So again, this top pocket, I've just taken the edges and left 3 1/4 inches, and I'm going to use this piece of paper. So this is where it gets a bit trickier, because obviously I've now got to try and double that off over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide that I definitely like the look of this on here, and I'm just going to glue down here, and I'll show you why. So just a thin layer of glue down here. Doopy-doo, doopy-doo. And again, I'm turning it so I can see the largest piece, which isn't that easy when you've got a piece that wants to jump up in front of you. Making sure it's at the edges, making sure it's down, gluing that, making sure I press it, really press it, because this is a pocket. And so the reason I've done that is it now makes it much easier for me to bend these over without the other page moving. And again, I'm going to fold up slowly. I'll do it this way so you can see it. I'm going to fold up slowly and then just press with the back of my fingers against where I can feel the ridges. You will also notice there's overhang here, so I will trim that once I have glued these down. So now let's just glue. So glue the bottom ones first. Again, gives you extra stability. And don't forget, we're going to turn this into a double pocket with glue in the middle. So that's nice and stuck. Really press it down, because we're going to have tags going in and out. Then glue here. Again, just press it, really burnish that edge. Use your bone folder if you've got one. Use something else. Maybe the back of scissors. Oh, and I forgot to glue this bit. Let's just glue a little bit there. Well done, Belle. See, even we forget to glue when we're filming. Okay, so I've glued both edges. Gosh, I'm going to get my glue scissors, and I'm just going to trim this excess off here. All right then. Is that glued? Yep, I must have glued that one. Why didn't I glue the other edge? Really press it down on this side, making sure it's nice and flat, and it's going to lay flat. And then you've got it. Inking time. Inking time. Inking time. Inking time. And I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm just gonna ink these edges. Again, definition. I don't need to ink down here because these will be covered, and I'm gonna ink the top here. Oh, I do make myself laugh. Okay, so I'm gonna put a line of glue down the middle. Now, although this page, actually I should do, because it's falling onto another page, and obviously I can't do a line of glue across there, I'm just going to make sure that I measure to about here and glue. And measure to about here, and I can glue. So, line of glue down the middle because we're turning it into 2 pockets. And then a line of glue either side on the bottom of the page. And let's turn this one over and really give it a good press. Make sure you press that middle bit as well, because obviously, sorry if I just knocked the camera, that's going to be an extra pocket. And then get my bone folder and really pressing it, really trying to get the glue here and here and in the middle. So, and I'm thinking I also want to glue along there. So just poking underneath. Hope you can see that. So I'm looking at where this edge comes to, and then I'm running my glue underneath because it would have been a lot easier to glue that bit too. But I forgot. Really pressing that. Let's fold it over, see if it folds. Press it from the other side. Press it this side, press it that side. And now we've got two separate pockets. That one's come up a little bit, so I need to press that down on that side. Now we've got two separate pockets there, so we're going to do this top one. We've done plenty of these before, so you all know what we're doing. Trimming too much of the excess off. Glue here. Press it over, really press down. I'm making sure to ink these edges for definition. Getting my piece of paper and working it out where I want it. So I'm going to put the green down here because you can see there's a lot of red here, but green up here. So again, if I had it this way, all the red would be down here and all the green would be up there, and I don't want that. So just for me, aesthetically, that's what, in fact, I'm going to trim a little smidge off this. That's what I like. You may think it looks better the other way around. So whatever works for you, it's your journal at the end of the day. I always see people saying, well, what should I do and how should I? And it's like, it's your journal. What pleases your eye? What do you look at and think, oh yes, that just gives me all the good feels. And it's not always going to work out. There are going to be pages you don't like. There are going to be journals you like more than others. There are going to be things that don't work and frustrate you and you think, oh, but it should be about what brings you joy, and when you look at it, what makes your eyes happy. That's the best way I can say it. What makes your eyes happy? So we've got a pocket there. I just want to make sure these are definitely glued down because we're about to glue another pocket on top of them. Shorter page onto longer page. So we glue on the shorter page, just on those two edges. And again, fold the book over. Press down really well. And then, as I always do, I press from the other side too. Move it back, press down on this side, move it back, move it back. It seems to be wanting to move up. When I move it there, it seems to be wanting to move and gapping. So I'm trying to work out why that's wanting to do that. Oh, we need a little glue in here. I really did not glue this page very well. So don't do what I do. But like I said, we're all crafters. We all forget sometimes. And yeah, pushing that down, turning the page. I need it to turn really well. I think I need to push it into the spine. So that is what I'm going to do. Yeah, it's coming over the edge a little bit. I think that's what was causing the problems. But that's okay. Sorted. Press down. So now we have a pocket here, and a large pocket there. And that glue's coming up, so I'm going to glue it again. As I said, sometimes that just happens. Doesn't matter. Normally, when you're making them at home, you're probably not trying to rush and get everything done. And that is our last large page pocket in the book. So for our last pages, firstly, I've got these. I want to keep these because I think the colour goes beautifully. And then this one's kind of half stuck together. So what I want to do is I want to actually glue this page. So this is the end. Then we've got this that's kind of weirdly, it's one of those that's kind of partially stuck on. So I'm going to glue this other page onto it. Again, this is the smaller page, so I want to glue it onto the smaller page because I don't know where it's falling. And then I've put a pocket page on the back of there. So the very last page in my journal, other than these two, is a pocket page, which I quite like. I like having a pocket right at the back. So here's our, oh, that's come up again. You don't want to stick for me today. You just don't want to stick. It's probably because there's several layers there as well. There's like 3 different layers, so it will stick. While that's sticking, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take the snip. What did I say I wanted with this one? I think I wanted a sideways one, didn't I? Because we'd just done that page. Yep, so I wanted a sideways one. And it should be dry enough now that it should snip out, yep, without any issues. And then I'm going to glue. Smaller page that's falling onto the larger page. Close the book. Oh, completely close the book then. Pressing, pressing, pressing. Do-do-do-do. Pressing, pressing, pressing. Pressing other side. Pressing this side. And now we've got that one there. So I went back for that. So let's go back to this final page. So we've got this final page. And then the page underneath, I've just left blank. I haven't even put any writing paper on it because I don't know what I'm going to do here, whether I'm going to leave it blank. But I've definitely put a pocket on the back. And that just means, if we go all the way back to the beginning, this was the first page we did. These are the 2 brown pages. Then again, we've got this strange page that's kind of attached quite a lot here. So what I wanted to do was just like I did at the back. So we've got these pages, then this strange page. I want to glue these 2 together. So again, go for the smaller page. Close the book. Be easier to turn it this way. Close the book. Press down. So now those 2 pages I've glued together. I don't know how your book looks, but you tend to have the end pages and then the next page tends to be stuck a bit higher up onto those end pages. I like to glue those together. And then I've just got a plain piece of paper I'm going to put there. And then I'm going to do another plain piece of paper there. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but this is how it's going to look. And then next to this front page that we did, let's just do this one at least. I've got some Edith Holden, and I'm going to turn this into a pocket page, which you've seen me do plenty of times, but I'll just quickly do it. And then we can have a bit of a quick flip through of our pockets, of our pages. Glue everywhere. Turn it this way so I can see from the top. There we go. I really like this one because it said about blackberries and elderberries and crimson berries and acorns and chestnuts all on the page. So I really, really loved that. Just took some craft card, just like all the other pockets that I've already done. And then this little one. And then we're going to get this glued onto the pockets. Again, you could stitch on pockets like this, you could stitch the paper onto and then attach the pocket, which is what I would normally do, I think. But I just want to do this more basic tutorial, and not everyone's got sewing machines. Not everyone likes using sewing machines with their paper craft. I'm one of those strange people that I actually bought a sewing machine when I started making journals for my paper craft. I'd always had smaller sewing machines. I'm going to use a notch again. I'd always had smaller sewing machines. Again, about a quarter this time, not a third, because it's a smaller pocket. So I can just see. But when I actually started making journals is when I then went out and bought a really good sewing machine. Oh, why is that glue not coming out? Okay, let's just use this one. A really good quality, heavy duty sewing machine to use for my paper crafting. Yes, I'm one of those. I know I'm not alone. I know it's happened. And it's something many journal makers have done. I'm just lining up the sides of the pocket with the paper underneath so that they look at least like one cohesive page. It doesn't matter if they're a little out or if you like it to look slightly different, really doesn't matter. So I'm not going to do these 2 pages because they're simple gluing down. So do those off camera. And if you guys have extra pages at the start of your books, you might want to do those too. So let's have a quick flip through. So I've got the 2 end pages. I'm keeping these because of the brown. It's got the thing and where this book originally was. I like all that. 2 plain pages because I'm probably going to do some decoration. We've just done a pocket at the front. Then we have, where's my little sheet? We have a pocket here. Then we have writing space and a pocket up here. Then we have another pocket and a top loading pocket here with writing space there. Writing space and a double pocket. Another pocket here with some Edith Holden. Double pocket here. Writing space. Double pocket here, writing space and side pocket, writing space and double pocket. We've made this one today and it says August. Side tuck over here and a pocket here, writing space, top loading pocket. This one says September, so yes, the way my brain works, I have to have it pocket here, in order. That needs a bit more glue again. I need to re-stick that one down. Writing space there and side tuck. Pocket up here. Double pocket here. That's finally stuck. Little double pockets here. They will only be little thinking about it. Tiny tags, but that's okay. And a large pocket here. And then at the back of the journal, plain page, finishing with a pocket, and it says October. And then the end pages. And this is what it looks like. Squish the spine a little bit. So actually, even though we took all those books out, all those other pages out, look. Even without all the ephemera in yet, it's basically the size it was before we removed all the pages. So that's the end of doing the pages, except those 2 front ones if you have that space. I'm just doing plain paper. I'm not doing any pockets or anything else. So I can do those off camera and you can do them at home. So that's that. Next, for our next video, we're going to be making snippets and ephemera pieces. So I have this basket full of bits. I have lots of bits of scrap paper, which you can see in autumnal colours, because mine's an autumn journal. I've got some dyed greaseproof paper, some doily, some that handmade paper. So I've got lots and lots of scraps of those, some little fibre paper. I've got lots of stamped images. This is just stamped on an old envelope. Again, lots of autumnal stamped images because mine's autumnal. So just grab your stamp sets. Then I have my little pot of labels, stamp labels and tickets that I've both made, and a normal tickets. I've got those. I've got some stickers, some random words, corrugated card because I like using that. I've got lots of little fabric snippets in the colours that I think will work. I've also got some wooden embellishments. I don't know if I'm going to use these because they're quite chunky and we can't have too much bulk in an altered book, but I may or may not. And then in here I've got some stamps. Most of them are just random ones. That one's got a flower, but most of them have people's heads and things like that. I picked out the colours that will go with the journal. So reds, browns, yellows. These are just random stamps from my collection. I also do have a couple of autumnal ones with trees on. Then I've got a load of die cuts from a scrapbook kit that I brought last year, scrapbook paper pad. These are all mushrooms and leaves and berries. These are stickers, some acorns, so again stickers. I've got some little felt pieces, and there's another felt piece. And then I've just die cut a load of leaves in different colours, autumnal colours from scrap card. And I've even got, I found in my stash a pumpkin that I'd made the other year. I made a whole load of these with a little wire. So it's just lots of bits. And the kind of things we're going to be making is we're going to be making some fabric snippets. I do have a video on how I make mine, but we'll make a couple in camera. I'm going to be making some little just clusters, embellishment clusters. You can see here some hand-dyed paper, label, some stamps. That one's got a guy's face on it. You can't even really see. It's just the green picks up with some die cuts. I haven't glued that down yet. Or some, I was inspired by these style by Corey Darman. These kind of snippet ephemera pieces with fabric, scrap papers and stamped images. And we are going to be making some of these because these go great on these kind of blank plain pages. See, you just add a snippet and look how good that's going to look. So we're going to make a load of those, or even on the side like that. We're going to make a load of those, or even there. But mainly they're going to be for the pages that we've left blank with the plain paper. So just grab your own little basket full of scraps of paper, stickers, die cuts, whatever you have. All of these are things I already had in my stash. Words, if you like using words, again, this comes from that scrapbook kit that I had, the autumnal one last year. Words, stamps, labels, all those kind of things are what I'm going to be using to make some ephemera pieces in the next video. Oh, so I know that was a lot and a bit of a rush. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, if you're crafting along with me, just stop the video and pause it when you're doing the different pages. And I hope you're still enjoying this series. Again, let me know down below if you are following along, what is the theme of your journal. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I will be back soon for episode 5 in this series. And until then, guys, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're safe. And I hope you're having lots of crafty fun. Bye for now, guys.